Like and subscribe to have amazing luck for the next week. Today we will be looking at some of the biggest creatures caught, bred, or witnessed by humans. You would think big animals would be easy to spot, but some of these you may have never seen or heard of before. So let's jump right in, shall we? Number 15. Does the Philippines have human-sized bats? In recent years, a picture from the Philippines has surfaced on the internet showing a bat that appears to be the size of a person. The image was tweeted by AlexJoestar622 on Twitter, along with a caption that says, "Remember when I told y'all about the Philippines having human-sized bats? Yeah, this is what I was talking about." He also included info on the bat along with the photo, which reads, "The giant golden-crowned flying fox can be found in the Philippines and has a wingspan of up to 1.7 meters, 5.38 feet. Despite their hulking size, these bats are vegetarian and consume primarily fruit." The photo instantly attracted attention, and with that came the skeptics who criticized whether the photo was authentic or not. While it states that the bat is the golden-crowned flying fox, that does not exactly make sense. Skeptics argue that the bat is either not that species, the photo is edited, or the angle of the photo taken makes the bat appear larger than it is. After much analysis, the conclusion was reached that this was a picture using forced perspective photography. If you think of those tourist photos where people pose with large structures like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the same logic exists. Everything is the size it should be, it's just a photography technique employing an optical illusion that can make something look smaller, or in this case, bigger, than it actually is. In reality, the bat is probably only just over a foot in height, or about the size of a small to medium dog. Number 14. The $1.5 million dog. I've been told you can't buy friends, but apparently you can buy man's best friend for a pretty $1.5 million. Yes, you can get dogs for little to nothing in comparison, but can you believe someone paid more than the cost of most people's homes for an animal? And this is not just any dog breed. We are talking about a purebred red Tibetan Mastiff named Big Splash, which is one of the largest and now most expensive dog breeds out there. At only 11 months old, the pup was already a respectable 180 pounds and still growing, so you know he was going to be big. In recent years, Tibetan Mastiffs have become popular animals among China's elite. Those with new money there have been looking for fresh luxuries as new status symbols, and these dogs have slid right in. Prior to Big Splash selling for $1.5 million, the most expensive dog title was held by another Tibetan Mastiff. It was in 2009 when a Chinese woman purchased her Mastiff named Yangtze River No. 2 for over $500,000. Number 13. Fenrir the Savannah Cat. Fenrir Antares Powers was adopted by Will Powers, a Michigan physician and HIV specialist, when Fenrir was just 12 weeks old. Savannah cats like Fenrir are a cross between domestic cats and large-eared wild African cats. The crossbreed rose to popularity in the 1990s, and then in 2001 the International Cat Association accepted Savannah cats as a registered breed. When Powers adopted Fenrir, he never expected him to get as big as he is today. In an interview, Powers said he just grew and grew like Clifford the Big Red Dog. On January 29, 2021, Fenrir was measured to be 18.83 inches tall at the age of 2 years old. Fenrir, or Fen for short, spends a lot of his days going to work with Powers, where the cat enjoys comforting the anxiety-ridden and stressed patients in Powers' office. As a tall cat, Fen can do and get away with things that other cats can't. Fen can push things off the tops of counters if he so desires. To give another example of the cat's height, Powers said in an interview, "When we were trying to take some pictures of him, we had to shut some of the other cats out of the room. And Fenrir decided he didn't want to be in the room anymore, so he stood on his hind legs and opened the door." Number 12. Is bigger really better for lions? Lions are already huge when it comes to the animal kingdom. When it comes to large cats, lions are second in size to tigers. You would think size would be beneficial for being a hunter and capturing prey in the animal world, but it's actually preferred to be more compact and lean, thus allowing them to attack swiftly. Lions actually had the highest muscle percentage of all mammals, making them super strong and able to easily overpower and defeat their prey. The world's largest lion reportedly weighed 690 pounds and was found in South Africa. To give you some reference, on average, male lions are usually around 420 pounds and females are around 280 pounds. Today, there are two extant subspecies of lions that are not extinct, which are the Panthera leo of India and northern Central Africa, and the Panthera leo melanochaeta, which are found in the southern and eastern parts of Africa. History has records of extinct lions that grew much larger, such as an American cave lion that weighed somewhere between 930 and 1,153 pounds. However, maybe lions of that size weren't suitable for capturing prey, thus faded out. Number 11. Everything's Bigger in Africa, Snail Edition. If we have learned anything from the giant lions of Africa, one thing worth mentioning would be that everything seems bigger in Africa. And that stays true for this next snail. In the grand scheme of things, snails aren't that big, but compared to the rest of the snail world, the giant African snail is massive. In Africa, it's go big or go home. And there you can find a snail that grows to be larger than your foot. The Archichatina marginata ovum, also known as the giant West African snail or banana rasp snail, is a tropical land snail that can grow to about 8 inches in length and live upwards of 10 years or more. Interestingly enough, the United States Department of Agriculture prohibits importing or owning this snail species. Apparently, it poses a risk to agriculture and the health of people. It's said to be very damaging as it feeds on over 500 types of plants, much of that being plants people rely on to survive. This species can also quickly reproduce, with an average being about 1,200 eggs annually. So you can see why the species is a threat to the well-being and survival of people in some areas. Number 10. Big Bear, Big Star. Some giant animals we come across naturally in the wild, while others are broadcast over television and the media. Brody the bear is a prime example of the latter. This Kodiak bear was born huge. At 8 weeks old, he already weighed 10 pounds. The bear grew fame all over. He was on the cover of National Geographic in July 2001, spent a day with Muhammad Ali, traveled the world, and worked on commercials, television shows, as well as weather films. This bear had a life that many people would be jealous of. Jeff Watson, the owner and trainer of Brody the bear, raised and trained him for 19 years, which put his name out there. Brody has been described as having a sweet face and the Robert Redford of bears due to his ability to portray emotions in desired films. Number 9. This otter does not want to hold your hand. When you think about otters, you probably think of the cute mammals that float in pairs and hold hands. But not all otters are like that. There is a much larger species of otter that has a slightly different reputation. This is none other than the giant otter. This kind of otter will want nothing to do with holding your hand. Not everyone knows the difference, though. A woman named Sue Spector was with her husband in Florida kayaking down the Braden River when they came across an otter. Since the animal is usually known to have a playful demeanor, the Spectors thought it would be okay to get closer to the animal when suddenly it leaped into the kayak and lunged at Sue. Her screaming did not scare the otter away, and it took her husband and other people, along with kayak paddles, to pry off and send the animal off on its way. After some time, they got some space from the otter, who continued to follow them but did not attack again. Number 8. The spider that eats birds. Up next, we have a spider whose name alone will make your skin crawl. Let me introduce you to the Goliath bird-eating spider. This spider is a part of the tarantula family and is in the northern portion of South America. Mass-wise, it is the largest spider in the world and the second largest by leg span to the giant huntsman spider. If the name alone doesn't scare you, check out what they look like up close. The bird-eating portion of the name derives from an early 18th century copper engraving done by Maria Sibilla Marian. In this engraving, you can see one of the infamous spiders consuming a whole hummingbird. However, despite the scary name, this spider hardly ever preys on birds. The largest of all time was a male Goliath bird-eating spider that was collected by members of the Pablo San Martin expedition of April 1965. This spider, found in Rio Cabro, Venezuela, had a record leg span of 11 inches, nearly the size of a dinner plate. While that one was found out in nature, another spider of the same species, bred by Robert Bustard, had the same span as of February 1998. Number 7. Crocodiles, alligators, and caimans. Oh my! Statistically, caimans are reported to be smaller and less threatening versions of alligators and crocodiles. However, have you ever heard of the black caiman? For some comparison, crocodiles are the largest. On average, they grow up to 20 feet long and weigh roughly 2,370 pounds. Up next, we have alligators that usually grow up to be 13 feet long and weigh about 790 pounds. And then we have caimans that on average are much smaller, reaching about 6.6 feet and weighing in at 88 pounds. Black caiman are even larger, with males being over 13 feet long. People have reported seeing one reaching 20 feet in length, which puts them up there with crocodiles. Black caimans are not an animal you want to mess with. They have a history of being aggressive animals who have attacked and even killed people. So if you ever come across one, turn around and take another route. Black caimans are no laughing matter. Number 6. This anaconda you get the picture. A lot of people generally fear snakes for various reasons, but up next, we have a snake that no one will judge you for fearing. The green anaconda grows to lengths of 30 feet and can weigh up to 550 pounds. However, unless you live in the northern regions of South America, you don't have to worry about running into one. Their bite force is a tremble-worthy 400 psi, which is enough to crush one of their jungle neighbors, the jaguar. If you ever come across one, if you aren't already in a chokehold, make sure you're not in the water, as that's where they're strongest, and in the water they're basically invincible. They're much less threatening out of the water, and you're much more likely to escape one on land. Number 5. Everything is bigger in Africa, Frog Edition. When you think of a frog, you likely picture one that can fit within the palm of your hand. Generally speaking, frogs aren't that big, but the species known as the Goliath frog are definitely larger than your average frog. You may not be familiar with them, as they are actually an endangered species of frog that lives exclusively in Equatorial Guinea and Cameroon in Africa. Currently, the Goliath frog is the biggest living frog species. They can grow up to 12.6 inches in length from snout to vent and can weigh up to 7.2 pounds. Unfortunately, due to habitat destruction and the pet trade, the species is in danger of becoming extinct. Number 4. Leatherback turtles. I bet you have never seen a turtle as big as this next one. Take a look at this footage. Is the turtle here actually much larger than the people in the background? Or is this another example of forced perspective photography? This footage gained a lot of attention when it first surfaced on the internet, and many wanted to know if it was real or not. In the video, we see what appears to be an abnormally giant leatherback sea turtle. Many skeptics had their doubts. It turns out, while the footage is real, it was filmed with a long lens from a distance that makes objects in the background, in this case the people, appear closer to objects in the foreground, which here would be the turtle. The lens also creates the impression that the turtle is abnormally large. In reality, leatherback turtles grow to lengths of about 6 feet and weigh between 550 and 2,000 pounds. The largest leatherback turtle ever recorded was almost 10 feet from beak to tail and weighed a massive 2,019 pounds. Number 3. The bigger the pig, the better? When you think of your guardian angel, I'm guessing you don't picture a large pot-bellied pig. But things are different for Joanne Altsman. Vietnamese pot-bellied pigs are one of the larger species of pigs. While this particular pig may not be the largest pig out there, Lulu the pig is one pig you need to know about. Generally speaking, Vietnamese pot-bellied pigs may be cute as piglets, but as they age, well, they have a face that only a mother could love. Altsman never really intended on having a pig in her home. Lulu the pig was originally given to her adult daughter for her 40th birthday. But one day her daughter left town and Joanne was left with Lulu. The two grew a close bond during this time. Their relationship was put to the test one morning when Joanne was faced with a heart attack. Immediately, Lulu sensed something was wrong and went to get help. Lulu was able to get the attention of a young man in a car, and the pig alerted him of Joanne and as a result saved her life. I've heard of dogs and cats saving lives. Well, now I can add Lulu the pig to that list. Number 2. The biggest creature to ever walk on 100 legs. A normal centipede is not something most people ever want to encounter in their lifetime, let alone this next one. The Peruvian giant yellow-leg centipede, or Amazonian giant centipede, is the largest species of centipede in the world, reaching lengths of 12 inches. These monstrous centipedes can be found throughout South America and part of the Caribbean, where they feed on arthropods, amphibians, mammals, and reptiles. While they're not exactly dangerous or a threat, they may bite if they are disturbed or handled. They're venomous, and those sensitive to it may experience headache, chest pain, heart tremor, nausea, or vomiting. However, fortunately, no bites or injuries have ever been fatal. So if you ever find yourself face-to-face with an Amazonian giant centipede, just leave it alone and you should be fine. Number 1, and of course, the blue whale. A lot of large animals can maybe be viewed at the zoo, but not this last one. Up next we have none other than the blue whale. It should be no surprise that this creature is on the list, as it's the largest animal in the world. The longest blue whale on record is a female that measured in at a South Georgia whaling station in 1909 at 110 feet and 17 inches long. As for the heaviest blue whale on record, this was a female that was hunted in the Southern Ocean by Antarctica. She weighed in at 418,878 pounds, or 190 tons. To give some perspective, this is the equivalent of about 30 elephants, or about 2,500 people. While blue whales are enormous in size, they are not predatory and pose no real danger to humans. If you enjoyed today's video, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Have you come across any large creatures that didn't make this list? Share them in the comments, and be sure to check out these videos on the screen. Thanks for watching!